Michael Jordan, Pele, Kurt Angle, Peyton Manning, Babe Ruth. What do all these guys have in common? Well, they're considered the greatest in their sport. Does MMA have someone like that? Well, yeah, we do, and we have a good amount of names to choose from for a lot of different people. Fedor Emelianenko, Randy Couture, Dan Henderson, Jose Aldo, Demetrius Johnson, and my pick for easily the greatest fighter of all time, Georges St-Pierre. We get to see him take on a guy who has one of the most controversial Twitters in history, Jake Shields. UFC 129 took place at the Rogers Centre in Toronto, Ontario, Canada on April 30th in 2011. It broke the record for the highest attendance in UFC history with over 55,000 in attendance, while smashing the Livegate record at over $12 million. And with Mike Goldberg and Joe Rogan getting ready in the commentary booth, enough talk. Let's get to the fights. On the prelims, Pablo Garza got a sick triangle choke on Yves Yaboin. John Makdessi hit a super slick lead hand spinning back fist for a KO on Kyle Watson. Ivan Minjavar got a big standing elbow KO and some follow-up shots. Jake Ellenberger just cracked Sean Pearson early in the first round. Then Rory McDonald took Nate Diaz to Suplex City for 3 rounds in a very, very dominant showing. But now, for the first fight on the card, we have a debuting Benson Henderson, who's debuting in the UFC, of course. And he's taking on the lightweight workhorse in Mark Bocek. So out the gate, Bendo's trying for an outside low kick with the lead leg. Bocek tries to time a straight right here and then dives on the legs, pressing Bendo to the cage. Bendo defenses super well. There's some knees here, but it's a lot of holly homing. Bocek tries to land the right hand to get into the clinch, but instantly Bendo turns him around. Big elbow. Bocek tries for a low kick, but he gets countered back with a straight hand from Benson Henderson. Bocek does get him down, and he's looking to just control on Bendo with some attempts to take him off the cage. Bocek, though, just kind of holds him on the ground for the remainder of the round. Second round, and early on, Bocek gets hit with a good left hand, but he does get a big takedown where Bendo actually just scrambles back up super quick. Great low kick into a sprawl from Bendo, who then just trips Bocek right back down. Bocek trying to work his bottom game, but Bendo is trying to stay on top while landing some good punches when he can. Bocek looks for a leg lock and then uses it to get up with them. Yeah, you already guessed it. They're clinching up again. Yay, some holly home. Bocek does manage to snap Benson down, and he looks for an anaconda choke. Henderson escapes and just lets loose with some knees and elbows, and finally this fight is picking up. Benson is looking to apply some pressure, but Bocek gets him down. Henderson hits a sweep while looking for an armbar, and now he's on top with big shots. Bocek is avoiding some damage, but on the way up he eats some knees. Bocek's trying to do anything he can to steal this round, but Bendo gets up and starts flurrying at the end. The fight goes to decision with Benson Henderson winning all 3 rounds. This fight is weird, super boring, but there's spurts of fun. I'm going to go with a 5.5. You know, this is my first retro review of 2024, so I'm changing my ways a little bit. I'm going to be a little harsher on the scorecards. But who knows, I might just be like the nice guy like I always am on these scores. So next up on the card, we have the first of 2 light heavyweight fights with Vladimir Matyushenko taking on Jason Brills. Out the gate, Matyushenko lands a jab, gets some confidence, starts launching that leather. Big uppercut, left hook, drops Brills, and he puts him out with some hammer fists for a quick KO. Yeah, this fight is quick, it's violent, and I want to score higher, but I can't bring myself to, as I want more. I'm looking for violence here in Canada, and I need it, okay? 6 out of 10. Next up on our quest to find this violence, we have the legend himself, Randy the Natural Couture. And he's taking on Lyoto the Dragon Machida. Out the gate, Randy's looking to go. His stance is being lowered, trying to pressure Machida, who quickly counters a potential engage with the left straight. So Randy is having some head movement to try and get inside, but Machida is feinting away, sapping away the gas tank, then landing when he needs to. Huge knee to the body of Randy, but Randy tries to hold on and press Machida to the cage. No luck. Randy goes for another takedown, lands a punch in when he's kind of fighting for it in this clinch. Machida escapes quickly. Huge body kick lands, and that one really hurt me. Machida is just getting loose and lighting Randy up whenever Randy's trying to step in. Second round, and Machida is lighting up Randy early with a combination. Suddenly, the crane kick out of nowhere. No can defend. Follow-up punches come in, but this fight's over for sure. Lyoto Machida wins by KO with the crane kick from Karate Kid. And this fight hurts me. I love Randy Couture. He's like a hero in life for me. That said, it's a fun one, admittingly. It's kind of fun. A little one-sided and stylistically a rough matchup for the aging Randy Couture, but he wanted a serious run. And when you want a serious run at the title, you can't just have good matchups all the time. Sean O'Malley, Conor McGregor. And so, you kind of need to have these rough matchups sometimes along the way. 7.5 out of 10. Oh boy! And we have a classic on next as we see a guy who's in my hidden hammer stable, Mark Hominick, and he's taking on a guy who I think legitimately has consideration, at least, for the greatest ever in Jose Aldo. He's got to be, in my opinion, in that top 5 for sure. Out the jump, Aldo's trying to work the hands and landing some low kicks that just blast Hominick. Huge right hand feint into a left hook to the body, then a low kick, which is insane. Aldo gets a big takedown. He looks to land some elbows, and Hominick's in a really awkward spot as his head is kind of stuck against the edges in those small corners in the cage, and he's hit with some good elbows. Second round, Hominick is trying to put on the pressure with boxing. Great combination, ending in a left hook. Aldo gets a takedown stuff, and Hominick is doing much better in the stand this time, closing the distance to take away the kicks. Big takedown though from Aldo, who you can tell is dealing with some cardio issues wise. On top though, he's working to land more elbows with him posturing up, landing a big 1-2 punch, then going back on top. Stand up happens. Hominick's doing well to avoid damage. Aldo gets a nice slip of a punch before hitting a big takedown and lands him in side control. It's a closer round, but I'm leaning towards Aldo here. Third round, Aldo's getting a read early on with an uppercut. Good left hook lands that briefly stumbles Hominick. And finally, Aldo, who's been missing his right hand as he's been kind of countering with it stationary, he steps in with it. This one wobbles Hominick hard, who gets brought down to the mat. Aldo tries to finish him, conserves some energy when he sees he can't really put Hominick out. Huge round for Jose Aldo. Fourth round, another massive low kick again. Huge right hand sends Hominick's head back. Big combination, ending with a low kick. Once more for Aldo. Aldo with a jab, then a hesitation right hand that launches Hominick across the cage. Aldo jumps on top, starts pounding away. A hematoma on the right side of Hominick's head from the left elbows. Hominick's getting blasted though by Aldo here, and the crowd is seeing their hometown guy get turned into a unicorn. There's a horn growing out of his head. They go back at it again on the feet. Hominick's getting caught again with the right straight, then brought to the ground. Aldo smells blood. He's pressing him, looking to land big shots. Huge uppercut lands that gets a delayed reaction out of Hominick, who now shoots a takedown out of desperation. Hominick is just pounding on Aldo. He's trying to pass. Aldo's keeping him in guard. Aldo's holding on. He's tired and he's trying to survive. He's not taking big shots, but he knows his gas tank is compromised. Aldo does survive though. To the crowd's brief dismay, Jose Aldo wins by unanimous decision to retain the featherweight title. I almost want to give this fight a 10 out of 10, but I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. Easily 9.5. And we did it, boys. I didn't think we could do it, but we found violence in Canada. It is a wondrous thing. And I gotta tell you, man, watching this fight again was just magnificent. But now it's time for the main event. Georges St-Pierre taking on one of the most boring fighters of all time in Jake Shields. Yeah, I didn't add that part into the intro, because if I did that, you probably wouldn't stick around. See, I gotcha. And out the gate, we see Shields tossing out a lot of open hand jabs and inside low kick. Shields tries to get a single. Then now he's looking to Holly home. He was actually one of the predecessors of the Holly home. George spins out, resets in the center where he goes high with a kick. Shields goes for a naked kick and gets sent flying when on one leg with a jab. GSP is a much better striker than Shields, and he hits a shuffle on him to tell Jake that, yeah, I am a much better striker than you. Second round, it's the same story. George lands a huge overhand right that stuns Shields, then another one lands, George is another 5 levels ahead of the number 1 contender in his division. Another dominating round for Georges St-Pierre. But now, third round, you know what? Shields is coming out aggressive, and he's missing everything, eating a jab from the circling St-Pierre. Shields seems incapable of defending against the jabs and the overhand rights, all while getting his takedown stuff. What else is this guy going to be able to do? This performance so far is just flawless from Georges St-Pierre, and you can feel, I feel it. The French-Canadian energy from Georges St-Pierre, it's riling up the crowd, maintaining control of the fight, and it's infected me. Yeah, Jake Shields, he only seems to try and use his John Jones style of sticking his fingers out, while Georges St-Pierre, he's just piecing him up. At the end of the round, George catches a kick, just throws Shields to the mat for an easy round domination. Round 4, Jake Shields, you know what, man? He's showing off his Juliana Pena-esque wine mom boxing style. George basically just laughs it off, plants him with a takedown. A huge left high kick lands that drops Shields. George is patient, doesn't go to the mat with him. Shields is throwing punches, none of it's landing, and now he's taunting, trying to break the composure of GSP. Final round, it's a one-sided smackdown. This whole round is more of the same. Big right hand, jabs, counters, Shields looking to claw and throw the worst lead leg body kick I've ever seen. Let's fast forward to the end here, because nothing else happens that we haven't seen before. Georges St-Pierre coasts to an easy unanimous decision victory that is incredibly dominant. And like I said, this fight kinda sucks. 3 out of 10. George is massively impressive in this fight, but that said, Jake Shields offers nothing for him, and that means there's no tension, no excitement, which lowers the action hard. But what did I think of this whole card? Yeah, it's okay. You know, it's alright. I mean, you got 2 fights that I think aren't very good. I didn't enjoy them. A really quick KO, an incredible KO that hurts watching, then a masterclass of a fight. Yeah, I mean, like, this card isn't, like, offensively bad. The crowd, though, was amazing. Like, there were some stinkers, and there's moments where like the stinkiness of like these fights happening, but this crowd is just like, you know, I'm gonna keep watching those because this crowd's hyped. It's like when you're watching like professional wrestling and the crowd isn't into it, and like the crowd's going nuts, and it's like, oh, this match is awesome. And if you want to see me do a retro review of your choice, then donate to our Patreon, where you can request anything I can get my hand. If I can get my hands on it, I'll watch it and review it. Why not? I'm Joe with the INC. Thank you so much for watching. Genuinely, I love all the love we get. Obviously, I act really braggadocious sometimes on camera, but I genuinely am just humbled by how great you guys are. Thank you so much.